Zelenskyy says 20,000 Russians were killed in action in Kharkiv Oblast.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian forces lost 20,000 personnel during the offensive in Kharkiv Oblast, says President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. We stopped this offensive, their offensive failed, and that is a fact. This was the price they paid for the villages in the gray zone. I say the gray zone not because we or the Russians designated it this way, but simply because it was fired on, and people were evacuated ahead of time. I don't think this operation will be successful. And once we have reserves, we will take back our positions. Background. On the 10th of July, Colonel Viktor Salimchuk, deputy commander of the Kharkiv Operational Tactical Group and its chief of staff said that the Russian forces have deployed 10,350 troops for the offensive in the border areas of Kharkiv Oblast, which commenced on the 10th of May. The colonel reported that, as of early July, Russian losses included 2,939 soldiers killed in action and 6,509 wounded in action. 45 Russian troops have been captured by Ukrainian forces.
This post received a score of 20,000, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
What a complete and total waste of life.
But that's a sacrifice Putin is willing to make.
Shrek.
There's a reason his name is Lord Farquaad.
Is there any pushback from the Russian people? It seems bizarre that the people would be okay with so many deaths.
If they push back, they get sent.
And once they get sent, they then get pushed forward into Ukrainian bullets.
And if they push back on that, they get Russian bullets from blocking lines.
How convenient for the Russian government to be able to send dissenters right into the line of fire.
Honest question, is that a lot? It seems like a lot.
As a comparison, it took the US 19 years to reach 58,000 dead in Vietnam.
19 years is pretty misleading there. Yes, there were US deaths in Vietnam as early as 1956 and as late as 1975. But 1956 to 1964 the total was 416. And 1973 to 1975 the total was 131. 1972 was more than those 12 years and was 759. The other 7 years, 65 to 71, totaled almost 57,000. And of those 7 years, over two-thirds were in just 3 to 67, 68, 69 to 40,000 and 42 American dead. The more clear comparison is that 40,000 dead in the 3 worst years of Vietnam.
Thanks, that seemed a bit misleading to say in 19 years. Way too many people nevertheless. When do the NKs arrive?
They're already there providing non-combat support. Taking a bullet is technically non-combat support.
Actually, being a bullet sponge is a combat role. It helps wear down Ukraine's armory and supply of weapons. This is a war of attrition, and Ukraine's longevity is directly reliant on global input of weapons, largely from the US. And with the upcoming election, it's entirely possible Ukraine's support from the US will dry up come February 25.
Ukraine was virtually on their last leg of supplies while Ukraine funding was held up in US government. Biden stepped the fuck up, got it passed, and bought another year of hope for the victims of the war. But if Trump wins, the hope is gone. Simple gone. Putin knows it. It's why H is putting incredible amounts of resources into disinformation and political contributions in the US. His only hope of victory is a Trump win, or at minimum, a red wave in Congress.
All the Russians have to do is go home. They don't need to keep senselessly dying. It's not worth it.
Russian mission, do not invade peaceful neighboring countries. Difficulty, impossible.
I wonder how many of these Russians are foreigners who were promised jobs and ended up being conscripted into the military.
There are a lot of foreigners from all over the world there. There are Africans fighting on the front lines. There's a recent video of an FPV drone flying through a door and hitting a squad hiding in some industrial buildings. They all scatter only to be taken down one by one with more drones that come into the adjacent buildings they fled to.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.